Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's 9 o'clock. Please take all your seats so we can start the Congress. Mr. President, you have the floor.
Good morning, everybody, dear ISU member delegates, ISU honorary members, office holders, and staff. Ladies and gentlemen, it's really a great pleasure for me to welcome you all here at the 58th Congress in Phuket. Unfortunately, we could not meet the past 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, I'm really very delighted that the skating community is finally meeting again. And it's always very special to see delegates from all over the world, and more than ever, your attendance and contribution to a successful gathering are highly appreciated. On behalf of all attendees here, I would like to thank the Figure Skating and Speed Skating Association of Thailand very much for the really warm hospitality and welcome, and for organizing the first ever Green ISU Congress. We have a very busy and very important week ahead of us here in Phuket. We will discuss and decide on many key topics for our great sports. On top of that, on Friday, the elections will take place. All items can be followed also on the live stream of this ISU Congress through the ISU YouTube channel. At the beginning of this Congress, I wish to honor the memory of great ISU friends who are no longer with us. In this regard, I would like to mention the ISU honorary members who passed away after our last Congress in 2018. Mr. Benjamin Wright, Ms. Biennial, Mr. Wolfgang Gunz, and Mrs. Walburga Grimm. We pay tribute to their devoted service to the ISU and to the skating. And I kindly ask everyone to please rise for a moment of silence to remember them, as well as all of our skating friends who passed away and who we will remember with affection. Thank you very much. We all want to promote and to develop our beautiful and exciting disciplines. Figure skating, speed skating, short track speed skating, and synchronized skating. In view of this mission, I would like to wish you all a very successful 58th Congress. Let's have fruitful and respectful discussions with important decisions for the future of the ISU. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, let's start now, and hereby I declare the 58th ISU Congress here in Phuket and Thailand officially opened. Before moving on to item 2 of the agenda, I would like to inform you that unfortunately, Mrs. Beatrice Pfister, the legal advisor of the ISU, had to resign for health reasons. Therefore, on top of legal advisor Mr. Geitslinger, Mr. Pierre Kobel is attending this Congress as legal advisor in the field of Swiss law. I would like to welcome also Mr. Kobel here at the Congress. Then we move on to item number 2, the verification that the Congress has been duly convened according to the Constitution. Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you, Mr. President. On September 7, 2021, we have sent you ISU Circular Letter number 624, and accordingly, the Congress was convened in accordance with Article 9, paragraph 1A of the ISU Constitution. Unless there are any comments or objections, this confirms that the Congress has been duly convened. Are there any comments or objections? If not, then we can confirm the Congress being duly convened.
Thank you very much. Then we move on to item number 3, the election of a secretary to record the minutes of the Congress meetings. I would like to propose Mrs. Becky Kearns because the Director General is busy during the Congress. You agree? Thank you very much. Unanimously accepted. Then I move on to item number 4, and I give the floor to the Director General, Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you. So item 4, we first start with subparagraph 1 and 2. 1 is verification of the qualifications of representatives and of their rights to vote through circulation of a list of representatives among Congress delegates, objections to ISU members and or ISU member representatives, attendance and subsequent confirmation by the Congress. And 2, electronic roll call of ISU members to establish the presence of ISU members and corresponding majorities. Now, since in this item we also deal with the motion regarding the participation of the delegates and office holders from Belarus and Russia and their right to stand for elections, we combine this with item 15, which is objections to nominations for elected position. So we deal with those 2 items together. Now you have received upon arrival a list of the ISU member representatives, so you know exactly who is here, and if you would have any objection to one of those delegates listed on this list, you will be able to state this at a little later stage. The list shows that we have 258 delegates announced. And before now going to check the number of votes and so forth, I propose that we do a first check of our voting system. It has been 4 years that we haven't used it, so maybe you don't remember anymore. So we propose to start as housekeeping to first proceed with a present vote. so we can check if all delegations have arrived and how many members and votes we have here present. You have each delegation has one of those voting pads, and I would like now the operators to start with a vote. So please push 1 and present, 1 and valid, which will confirm that your delegation is here. So please push 1 and valid. On the display, it should show value 1. This is for members having 1 vote, and value equal 2 for members having 2 votes. So if this would not be correct, if your value is not according to your right of votes, please raise your hand and we will check. Do we know? Yes? Can somebody check with the delegation there?
Two more.
Yeah. The first vote is always the most difficult because you have to make sure the system is all up to date and everybody's again familiar. So on your display it should show value 1 or value 2, depending on the number of votes you have. Is this the case for everybody now? There are 4 missing, so please double check your display. It should show I don't see. Who? Mongolia is not here. Okay, so Mongolia is not here. Everybody else? Macedonia. So Macedonia and Mongolia, not yet, which should be shown afterwards, but maybe let's have a look at the list of present members. Can we have a... So let's especially look at those not present and check if this is true. They're really not in the room. So these are those who are here and have voted. So, Belarus is not in the room, over there, and it didn't show value 2. Can somebody check for Belarus? Then we have Bulgaria. They're there. So please check Belarus and Bulgaria. Indonesia. Also somebody please check Indonesia. So Mongolia, we said, is not here. Macedonia, we were informed, not yet here. And Vietnam figure. They're not here. They're not here. So Vietnam figure, Mongolia and Macedonia clearly not yet here, but Belarus, Bulgaria and Indonesia, hopefully it works now. So can we close the vote and do another vote and see whether we now get everybody aligned? So please again, press 1 and valid. And again, check your display. It should show 1 value equal 1 or value equal 2. If it doesn't show this, please raise your hand and somebody will assist you. It shows everywhere value equal 1 or value equal 2. No more hands risen. So can we close the vote and have a look again at the list, especially the list of those who are not here? So Mongolia, we confirmed they're not in the room yet. Same as Macedonia. Qatar Speed. Qatar Speed, we have to check again and Vietnam figure is not here, no? Can we show the list again, or? If my calculation is correct, we should have 115 votes now. Okay, so the announced number of number of voting members, we have 85 voting members. The total amount of votes announced would be 119 votes. Since we don't have the 3 federations representing 4 votes, we have 115 votes at this point of time. Hopefully those 3 delegations will arrive during the Congress, and then we have 119 votes. For 119 votes, the 2/3 majority is 80, the simple majority is 60, and 4/5 majority is 96. Now we have at this time 115 15 votes, which means 2/3 majority is 77, which is the most important majority, 2/3. So at this point in time, for 2/3 majority needs 77 votes. Okay? Now, just to complete the warm-up and to be familiar with the voting system, let's do a test vote for a motion where you have to vote yes, no, or abstain. So we prepared a test vote, and I think the question is, do you like hot weather? We didn't want to put, do you like Thailand, because everybody would have voted yes. But it's not clear whether everybody likes the hot weather, so we don't offend anybody. So, if you do like hot weather, you push 1 and valid, and it should show on the display yes. If you do not like hot weather, you push 2 and valid, and then on the display it should show no. If you are not sensitive to the weather at all and want to abstain, you push 3, and it should show abstained, ABS. So the vote is open. Please push 1 valid, 2 valid, or 3 valid according to your choice. And again, check on your display. It should say yes, no, or abs. If it doesn't say this, please raise your hand and somebody comes to assist you. It should show yes, no, or abs. Everybody has voted? Okay, can we show the result? So clearly you like the weather here, and 20 delegations, they have no clue. And can we show who is this? So these are those in favor of the hot weather, those Italy and Spain, interesting. And now the interesting abstain. Congratulations. Okay, I think you are back up to speed now on the voting system, so we are ready for the warm-up is over. Now we come to the real stuff. Now, like I said at the beginning, this item we include this very critical question about the participation of the delegates, office holders, honorary members from Russia and Belarus, as well as their right to stand for elections. So this is obviously a very serious matter, and I think we should take time to do this very calmly and thoroughly. Now, you received yesterday the message from the ISU Council about the position of the Council on this issue. For those who might have missed it, I will read it so we are sure everybody is aware of the Council input. So yesterday, the Council sent the following message regarding ISU Communication 2469 and ISU Letter to ISU Members of May 17, 2022. Possible exclusion of Russian and Belarusian delegates to participate in the 22 Congress and stand for elections during the Congress. Ladies and gentlemen, we refer to the above-mentioned ISU Communication and ISU Letter. At the meeting of the ISU Council held on June 5, the Council decided it will not present a motion to exclude the Russian and Belarusian delegates from participation and/or standing for election at the ISU Congress 22. The Council agreed to remain with the protective measures ensuring the safety and integrity of international ice skating competitions as per ISU Communication 2469. In reaching its decision, the Council reviewed and discussed the applicable provisions of the ISU Constitution and the advice of its legal team regarding the potential legal risks that will exist for the ISU should the Council present such motion. Moreover, the ISU legal team advised the Council of the risk that an exclusion of the Skating Union of Belarus, the Russian Skating Union, and the Figure Skating Federation of Russia from participation in the Congress, or the exclusion of their members from standing for election at the 22 Congress, will be challenged in court. This could lead to a CAS procedure against the ISU with the potential risk that the decision could be found by CAS to be invalid, with the consequence that all decisions made during the 22 Congress, including the elections, would be considered as null and void. So this was the message sent out yesterday based on the meeting of the Council of yesterday. However, the ISU member from Ukraine, the Ukrainian Figure Skating Federation, supported by Bulgaria, Great Britain, France, Ukraine Speed Skating, has presented the following motion dated June 2nd. 1. To suspend participation of Russia and Belarus delegates, which means all Russian and Belarus citizens, including Russian and Belarus delegates, current ISU office holders, and honorary members from the 58th Ordinary ISU Congress. 2. To suspend Russian and Belarus candidates from the election at the 58th Ordinary ISU Congress for any position. Subsequently, on June 5th, yesterday, the Ukrainian Figure Skating Federation presented a revised version that has been distributed to the Congress delegates this morning. Now I ask the delegate from Ukraine Figure Skating. Where is Ukraine Figure Skating? Here. Do you confirm that the motion of June 5th replaces your motion of June 2nd? You confirm? So again, this is a very serious matter and needs careful attention. Before proceeding with a vote on this motion, and as per the ISU letter of May 17, the delegates from the Russian and Belarus ISU members have the possibility to address the Congress during 10 minutes each. Delegates from other ISU members will subsequently have the opportunity to speak, including questions to the legal advisors. And Obviously, first, Ukraine figure skating has the opportunity to comment on the last motion you made, if you wish to do so now.
One, two. Hello, everyone. Dear ISU members, dear friends, Ukrainian Federation of Figure Skating strongly believes that the delegates who represent Russian Federation and Republic of Belarus should not take part of the ISU 58 Ordinary Congress. Considering the global support and mood of many foreign communities, companies and brands that stopped cooperation with the Russian Federation and Republic of Belarus in support of Ukraine. Most of the federations also have confirmed their protest against participation of Russian and Belarusian skaters at the recent World Championship 2022 in France and the World Junior Championship 2022 in Estonia in order to maintain a friendly and safe environment and the competitions. We have seen the same situation in all sports. We do not see the possibility of the presence of the Russian and Belarus federations at the Congress, as well as the competitions of the coming season, while hostilities are going on the territory of Ukraine. We also ask you to note the many coaches and athletes from Russia support the action of the President of Russian Federation and the military invasion that takes place on the territory of Ukraine. This is evidenced by publication in various public sources. Definitely, at all times, sport was out of politics, but people of the world could not imagine that this could happen in the 21st century, right in the heart of Europe. Our country is suffering, our families are suffering, children are suffering, houses are being destroyed. How long this will last, no one knows. Our goal is the full isolation of Russians and Belarusians from world sports and the deprivation of their athletes of the right to participate in international competitions, as well as the deprivation of the right to hold international competitions on the territory of these countries. The question arises, how should people feel in the presence of the Russian and Belarusian Federation at the ISU events? People cannot pretend that nothing is happening, while many Ukrainian athletes picked up the weapons to defend our country. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine and the Ministry of Youth and Sports of Ukraine also sent letters to ISU with the request to exclude the federations of Russia and Republic of Belarus. We can't be silent, so our motions are, motion number 1, that individuals belonging to the ISU members in Russia, Russian Skating Union and the Figure Skating Federation of Russia and Belarus Skating Union of Belarus be excluded from participating in the 58th Ordinary Congress, including voting, deliberations, debates, submissions of proposals, and so on. The motion number 2, that individuals belonging to the ISU members in Russia, Russian Skating Union, and the Figure Skating Federation of Russia, and Belarus Skating Union of Belarus be excluded from eligibility for election of appointment as ISU Office Holder. Motion number 3, that individuals belonging to the ISU members in Russia, Russian Skating Union, and the Russian Skating Federation of Russia, and Belarus Skating Union of Belarus elected or appointed as an ISU office holder at the 58th Ordinary Congress be excluded participation in ISU activities. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your attention. That's a speech from our federation, so I would say just one sentence from my own. As a father of 4-year-old son, I do not wish any of you to see a scared eyes of child when bombs are exploding next to you and people's body parts are flying over your head. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baranov. Now we give the opportunity to the 3 members concerned to make their statements. From the Federation from Belarus, do you want to make a statement?
Dear Mr. President, dear ISU Council, ISU Office Holders, and all the members presented here. On the behalf of Skating Union of Belarus...
Excuse me, maybe you should go closer to the microphone.
Like this?
Yeah, thank you.
On the behalf of Skating Union of Belarus and myself, I would like to say thank you for this opportunity to speak here. I would like to say that over past 30 years, Skating Union of Belarus has been a member which fully complies with ISU rules and obligations. And with the help of the International Skating Union, we have hosted a lot of world and European championships, ISU World Cups in all our 3 ice disciplines. And it helps a lot to promote ice disciplines in our country, and a lot of young people, kids, start to participate in sports. And now it is very well developed in the Republic of Belarus. And I consider that our professional sportsmen from our national teams, they are part of international sport of this system, which exists not within some events in the world. Also, I would like to say that it is very important to say that Skating Union of Belarus, it is public organization which not involved in any political process, any war process which are going now. And with a deep respect and sorrow, I would like to say that we strongly regret to all those events that are now going in the Ukraine. And from the Organization for European Security, it was recently stated that Republic of Belarus is not a party of armed conflict. And I would like to put your attention that the life of professional athletes is rather short, and all sanctions imposed of professional athletes could make their professional life short, and they even could quit with sport. So by making your vote, I ask you to take in mind all these above mentioned things. And thank you very much for this opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much. Now we give the opportunity to the Figure Skating Federation of Russia. Do you want to take advantage of the opportunity to speak? Where are they? Over there. Okay, Mr. Sviridov.
Okay, dear Mr. President, Council members and delegates. Actually, I do not have much to say here because we came here as the delegates of the Figure Skating Federation of Russia to discuss the skating matters. We are not in charge of the political matters, nor do we have such expertise and knowledge of all the political and geopolitical processes which take place these days all over the world. And on the human side, of course, we feel sad about when people suffer, and no matter where this happens, in Ukraine, in Donbass, or in any other part of the world. Unfortunately, the list of those conflicts is quite long. This is very unfortunate. And it's sad that the politicians cannot solve these problems way ahead and in the interests of all interested sides. Despite of that, despite of all that long list of conflicts, the Figure Skating Federation of Russia and the officials never raised the topic. It never came to our mind to accuse any athletes, any skaters, any officials from those countries, because we very well understand that they have absolutely nothing to do with the events which take place in modern world. And the IOC at its recent session admitted that the athletes are not involved in the political processes. We agree with the council opinion that the decision which may lead to the exclusion from the participation in the Congress of the ISU members, active ISU members, may lead to certain legal consequences. And we are not in the position to waste our time, finance of the ISU and of the Federation to start all these legal processes. We'd rather spend our time and efforts in developing skating and to support the skaters. Also, as for the, according to the ISU letter on May 12th, it says that all Russian citizens who are actually present at the Congress might be deprived of the possibility to participate. Since it says Russian citizens, it will be consistent that understandable that this will apply to all Russian citizens in the figure skating community. And this is, may be potential threat to all these almost 400 skaters which Russia released to other countries, as well as coaches working all over the world. Most of them have still have the Russian citizenship. Despite of what decision is taken here, will abide, of course, although we understand that it's nowhere in the Constitution it says that the not excluded members may be excluded from the participation of the Congress. But despite of all, we'll abide to what you decide, but despite of that, we'll still continue to work hard in any situation so that to support our skaters, to give them opportunity to compete anywhere, even domestically or internationally, which is not now allowed. Because these are the kids whom we are bringing in, whom we need to take care of, and this is the goal of our federation. We're not interested in any conflicts, either with the ISU or in the world or anywhere else. Our goal is only to go on developing skating. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sviridov. Now the Russian Skating Union has the opportunity to speak.
Dear friends, dear members of a big ISU family, Russian Skating Union fully supports the position of Figure Skating Federation of Russia. And in turn, we would like to address the member of 58th ISU Congress with a letter from skaters. This letter was sent to the ISU President, Mr. Yan Deikima, and as well as ISU Athletes Commission on behalf of the Russian Skating Union Athletes Commission. This commission is included both current skaters participating in a major international competition held under the aegis of the ISU and the EOC, as well as the former skaters. Some of them are national Olympic team coaches who continue working for sports or engage themselves with speed skating and short track sports in the future. The skaters were upset not to receive the response to this appeal. Let me read this letter. The ISU statement published on the 1st March 2022 and the following letter to the ISU members dated 3rd April 2022 have been a huge disappointment for us, since it technically deprived Russian skaters of the opportunity to complete the 2021-2022 Olympic season, and also called into question the possibility for Russian skaters to further participate in international competition.
Yeah, maybe if you could stand, because people cannot see you. Sorry, Ksenia.
Okay. The opportunity question the possibility for Russian skaters to further participate in international competition for this undefined period. We would like to share the position of both current skaters and former athletes leaving the sport by depriving us of the opportunity to compete amongst the strongest skaters in the world and thus to achieve the highest results. ISU violates the whole principle of high performance sports. The age of the athletes is transient. When making such decision, we would like to the ISU to treat us without any discrimination and based on equality, given that we are professional skaters cannot influence or control certain political events in the country and in the world. They are those skaters and officials who have been performing at the World Championships and the Olympic Games without national symbols displayed for the last 4 years. And despite this, we continue to win the highest awards at major international competition, at the same time promoting and improving the entertainment and popularity of our sport in the world, as well as becoming role models for thousands of children who do sport in our country. The ISU Athletes Commission sincerely hopes for a reasonable and non-political decision and further ISU attitude towards Russian skaters, which will preserve the basics and values for our sport, as they are. In strict compliance with the ISU Constitution, in particular with Article 3, Paragraph 3, the ISU does not approve of interference in its sport based on political or any other grounds and will make every effort to avoid such interference. ISU Athletes Commission. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. Now, before we open the floor for comments from other delegates, from other members, I would like to ask our legal experts to comment on the latest motion we received last night, which we received after the council meeting. So the council could not yet, during the meeting, consider this motion, and it includes certain references to rules and violation of the statutes. So I just would like either maybe Mr. Geistlinger or Mr. Kobel to comment on this on these 3 points in the motion from the legal point of view, only legal point of view.
Thank you, dear Director General. Reading this motion text and the explanations, reasoning given to the motion, I kindly have to bring to your knowledge the legal view that it is not a valid reasoning which is given here, for the following reason. Article 17(1)(q) of the ISU Constitution refers to a competence of the Council. It is not a competence of the Congress. The same goes for Rule 104.16a(ii), which also is a competence exclusively of the Council and not of the Congress. That means the explanation will not help us in a court case. And this is where you are potentially bringing this case in the, if you decide to exclude following the motion of the Ukrainian Figure Skating Union. I just wanted to read Rule 104.16, the particular important sentences. It said, the Council may exclude an ISU member or an affiliated club. In II, it's read from, for example, congresses. If this is being done before the exclusion, the ISU member, this you can read from 16D, before exclusion, the ISU member or affiliated club thereof must be informed about the nature of the alleged offense, all facts pertaining to the case, and all evidence available. I listened carefully to the oral speech of the representative of Figure Skating Union of Ukraine, and highly appreciate. You referred to evidence from social media. There is no fact, no other facts which you are giving, and you are addressing the wrong body with this explanation. You are addressing the Council and not the Congress. So for these reasons, I consider that in a court case, we cannot refer to this explanation. And the problem you are raising potentially for us is that you are giving no other argument, no other legal argument to us than there is a warfare taking place on the territory of the Ukraine, and where you argue that Russia is involved and Belarus is involved. This is the only legal arguments you are giving to us. And if you imagine now that we need to run a court case at CAS, which certainly will be initiated by the federations, then we are very poor in defending the ISU.
Thank you, Michael. Pierre, you would like to add something?
Yeah, just if necessary, I noticed that some of the provisions that have been referred to, and I'm thinking of 104.16, is typically a disciplinary question, and we're not dealing here with disciplinary questions. And indeed, we could not afford to have another case leading to very serious consequences for the ISU if delegates and representatives from Russia and Belarus were prevented from participating to the Congress. It could mean even that some of the decisions, and mainly all the decisions taken by the Congress, could be null and void. Can you imagine the consequences for the rest of the activities of the ISU? And this is a sort of consequence that nobody wants and can afford in these circumstances. And as regards Rule 104, paragraph 17, that is also referred to, it's not been adopted yet, so it's not a reference, it's not a valid reference for making any decision of the kind. That's all.
Thank you, Michael and Pierre. But while the reasons are questionable, nothing prevents the Congress to vote on the actual motions, correct? Okay. So these were comments on the reasons. Doesn't mean that we cannot vote on the 3 points in the motion. Now, before going on, are there other delegates who would like to speak on this subject? If you do so, please go to the microphone and say from which federation you are and your name, please. Anybody? No? Over there, yes. Yes, please.
Yes. Rafał Tataruch, Polish Speed Skating Federation. Ladies and gentlemen, delegates, representatives of countries all over the world. This is a difficult moment. The need to exclude representatives of Russia and Belarus from election of 58th Ordinary Congress is not protest against Russian and Belarus sportsmen and officials, but a signal that we are against what is happened in Ukraine. Due to attack by Russia, about 7 million people fled Ukraine from this country, of which nearly 4 million refugees from Ukraine found refuge in Poland. Like many countries around the world, we, Poles also try to help these innocent people, shelter so that they can see the end of this brutal attack. War has huge economical impact on our lives, and we have to be united to survive it. After illegal exclusion of Russia and Belarus from the ISU competition, the previous season, we further proposed that the members of Russia and Belarus should be excluded from election during the 58th Ordinary Congress. We fully support the motion presented by the Ukrainian Figure Skating Federation. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other speakers? Yes, please.
Mona Adolfsen, President of the Norwegian Skating Association. Dear President, dear ISU Council, dear members. This is a very difficult moment for all of us, and we know. And we all love the skating. That's why we are here. So we don't actually want to do this. We love also our athletes from all the countries, also the Russian and the Belarusian. And it's not towards those or the officials. Still, it's not a possibility to accept what's going on in Ukraine. And for us as an organization, as a democratic organization, we have to stand up for what's right and to stand up for our friends also in Ukraine that are not possible to skate or do anything else. They have to defend their lives. They also have a short career. So, our governments in a lot of European countries, they have banned or excluded also transmission and other, like in harbors, they are excluded the ships from coming. It's not because of the shipments or the fishes. It's because of an action towards the Russian invasion of Ukraine. So we are supporting fully the motion from the Ukraine Skating Federation of Figure Skating. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Jeanette King, New Zealand Figure. Of all the countries where the most geographically
Can you
removed,
please go closer to the mic? Thank you.
of all the countries we're probably the most geographically distant from the war in the Ukraine. At the same time, we have friends who have been severely impacted, Ukrainian friends who have lost friends and family members and who have been have become refugees as a result of this aggressive action by the Russian government. However, I do have a question for our legal people here around, as has been raised, Article 3 of our Constitution, paragraph 3. I really don't know, I find this very difficult. How as an organisation can we operate outside what appears to be a rule that says that we cannot take action on political grounds? So some guidance, please.
So your question is the interpretation of Article 3 of the Constitution.
It sounded more specific, your question, in the end, and I couldn't get it. I'm sorry. Would you repeat the end of your question? It's not just Article 3.3 in general.
It really is Article 3, and whether, does that actually say that we cannot exclude people on the basis of politics? I just need some clarification around that, because this is a huge decision for us. If we decide to make a decision that sits outside what our rules prescribe we can do, this is getting into dangerous territory.
Would you like to go, or should I? Okay, you can go. Stuart.
I would like to answer this question by referring you to Article 3, paragraph 1, the last sentence. The ISU shall ensure that the interests of all ISU members are observed and respected. Also the members of the Ukrainian Federation, of the Russian Federation, of Belarus, they have to be respected, and their interests have to be respected. And what you are discussing on is in principle that you deprive another member of the same right all other member federations have. And you do give so far no more reason than a warfare in the Ukraine takes place.
Yes, exactly. I think the issue with the political matters is that, as Michael just said, it's a very important restriction in the rights of the Russians and Belarus, the fact that they cannot participate to Congress. It's a huge restriction, and for that you have to have excellent reasons. And no matter how unpleasant is the current situation, because we all feel that it is extremely unpleasant and regrettable, but nevertheless, it's still a political question so far. And if it is a political question and there is such a restriction of the rights, you can be sure indeed that there will be a procedure after that. And if there is a procedure and the decision is found because of Article 3, paragraph 3, invalid, because it's a political decision, then you would have all our work done today, and maybe in the coming months, that could be also considered as null and void. And this is really an extreme consequence for the ISU. And so I really ask you, and I think you should all bear in mind that possibility. I'm not saying that the risk is very high, but I'm saying that this is a very serious consequence. So the consequence is extreme, and therefore it's not a very good idea. And so we're not having here any other specific motive that we could use as an argument if we have a challenge in court. If we had, perhaps we could enter into a discussion, but we don't have anything additional.
Thank you, Pierre. I think all these legal arguments sound a little cold-blooded, but I have to remind you that besides the legal aspect, the Council at many occasions reaffirmed its solidarity with the people of Ukraine and also condemned the invasion of Ukraine. So we have to keep those legal arguments and the feelings of the Council very different. Other comments? No more? Yes.
Janne Korhonen, Finland Figure Skating. The President, Council members, members of the Congress. Finland supports the Ukrainian motions. When you look at the overwhelming support, international support that Ukraine has received in this war that Russia is waging on a sovereign state, we as the members of ISU, we just cannot come to any other resolution than the overwhelming majority of the international community. We must take a firm stand on this. We must stand behind our principles. As it has been stated here many times already, the outcome of the motion would be harsh on individuals, on skaters, who have no part in this aggression. But we must put that aside as they represent the countries that are driving the unwarranted aggression. And I do hope that, and I trust that there will be a day when all of this is behind us, and we can skate as a whole family again. But for now, we do believe that we must take a firm stand, and I sincerely hope that we can all stand in support of our Ukrainian brothers and sisters. Thank you.
Thank you. Further interventions? Yes, please.
Karen Butcher, President of Skate Canada. Dear skating family, skaters and officials.
Please go closer to the microphone, please. Thank you.
Skaters and officials from Russia and Belarus are not allowed to participate in international competitions and ISU events. For the same reasons, in order to protect the integrity of our sport and for the safety of all participants, the same measures should apply to Russian and Belarusian delegates at Congress. Russia broke the Olympic truce and has eroded trust. Russian skaters have shown support for Putin and the war in Ukraine. Delegates from Russia allow their athletes to be used as propaganda for an illegal war. To include Russians and Belarusians in the development and decision-making of our sport will continue to destroy trust in our skating family, as well as our fans, major sponsors, and television partners. It is our duty as ISU members to uphold the values of our sport. We have an obligation to the athletes to hold Russia accountable. By allowing delegates from Russia and Belarus to participate in Congress sends a message that when rules are broken, there are no consequences. This is not personal. I really look forward to a time when Russia and Belarus can fully participate in all ISU activities. But it's an awkward discussion we must have, and I'm very pleased that Ukraine has offered forward 3 motions for us to consider. Thank you.
I think our legal experts would like to react to one comment.
There's one argument in what we heard right now, and which would refer to the legal defense. It is the fact stated, it needed then to be given evidence, that officials, Russian officials, allowed Russian skaters to defend the warfare on the Russian side, on the side of President Putin. But this will not help us to defend you sufficiently. And let me therefore take the other part of this speech, which shows you how prudently the Council acted. Because the Council based its decisions on clear motives which can work legally. We are not absolutely safe, I have to confess, but they are very strong in our position. So they protect the health and safety of participants at competitions. I did not see that yesterday any delegate from the Ukraine or a delegate from Russia insulted each other, or started a warfare with each other, or pushed the one out of, or were not present at the same event. So the question of safety and health of participants is certainly a totally different one with regard to competitions, where we cannot guarantee that this happens within the athletes or within the spectators or even officials. And therefore, the Council has decided to protect against. And it is also a question of integrity of the competitions, because if one part of the athletes, of the skaters, cannot participate at the competition, this means automatically that no fair competition is guaranteed. Competitors from the Ukraine have not the same chance as competitors from Russia or Belarus. And for this, Russia and Belarus are responsible. And therefore, the integrity of the competitions plays a legal role. But the integrity of the Congress is endangered if without any legal valid reason, or with this poor reason we just received from our last speaker, with this poor reason to exclude delegates from their membership rights. What you are doing is you violate Swiss law. And the problem is the Council of Europe or the United Nations Human Rights Committee, they can do so because there's no judge above them. But the International Skating Union is a union, an association, a federation based on the Swiss law. We are bound to the Swiss Civil Code. We are bound to respect the membership rights of the association, and this is our problem. So what the Council of Europe, in answer to what perhaps the delegate from Finland might have referred to, what the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe could do, they could do so because there's no international court behind them. It's their free right. Here, unfortunately, we are not in the same position. And therefore, I kindly ask you to be aware of these consequences. That perhaps in 2 years or in 3 years, we get an award and we are then the ones that have to say you what you did in the Congress in Phuket. It was the decisions, they were null and void, they were not taken. The persons you elected, they were not elected. The decisions that have been done by these representatives in the period between 2022 and perhaps 2024, all these decisions have to be redone. And you need also to calculate which huge amounts of money one has to say, misused in this case. These are the consequences of the decision. So the potential ones. Of course, you can say we play and we let our attorneys and our legal advisors work on CAS and work eventually before Swiss courts and do their very best. And you can be assured that we will do our very best, but we need also to inform you that this case is much more difficult than 2 other cases. We are already having a lot of problems, which I will report to you later on in my report of the legal advisors.
Thank you, Mr. Geislinger. Further interventions? Yes, please. Mrs. Oak.
I'm Susan Ock from Canada Speed. First, I just want to say that the ISU right now has an opportunity to be a leader in the world, right? Like, we're here today, we have an opportunity to be a leader. So I think we need to do something. I have a question, a specific question. If Rule 104, paragraph 17, the other protected measures, was actually voted on by the delegation and a rule in place today, would that make a difference? Could the, no, you're shaking your head. Maybe I can just stand here and ask that question quickly. Because, and I'll follow it up with Article 30, number 21, decision-making power at the Congress, Council, Director Generals, Directors. It seems then a decision could be made by the Congress. So maybe I'll sit down, but that's the question. And I do think that we as a Congress have to decide if we are going to be leaders or not.
Okay. No, it works. Now, what needed to be done to answer your question is to change the agenda, to move this item ahead, to set it into force immediately, and then to base the decision on this. But still, we have the procedural problem. The procedural problem is to have facts related to the respective delegates, because it is an issue of how to deal with the delegates. And these facts to establish and to grant a legal hearing, because then the Congress is acting like a tribunal. To grant a legal hearing, this is fully impossible. You need it perhaps to select some delegates and to say, let us sit down a couple of hours and hear one by one the respective delegate, and then to summarize the arguments, bring them to the attention of the Congress members. I do not see any improvement of our legal position. I understand very well that you want to do something, but if you want to do something, for example, adopt a resolution that you unanimously condemn the warfare in the Ukraine. This is the legitimate right of the Congress, but to link it to a measure of deprivation of membership, of members and membership rights, this is something where you shoot potentially in your own feet. That's the problem. So the sympathy with the Ukraine, no matter of doubt, to confess it publicly, openly, in form of a solemn declaration, also not a problem at all. But to link it to legal measures, that's the problem.
But, sorry, Mr. Pierre, please.
Yes. If I understood your question correctly, you were suggesting whether the Congress voted on the new Article 104, Rule 17, and whether it would change the things. It would not, for two reasons. The first one, this is the new power of the Council and exceptional circumstances. We don't have now exceptional circumstances that prevent you from sitting here and voting here. You can sit and vote now. The Russians can sit and vote now. The Ukrainians can. Every delegation can. There is no specific circumstances that would force the Council, and the Council would not do that under this Article 104.17. And so it's a rule, it's a new and broadened rule of emergency that is proposed to you with that provision. And so you really need to be in a situation where this is very necessary. And now, I think I fully understand all the delegations who would like to show support to the Ukrainians, because we all want to show support to the Ukrainians. But I'd like to also insist on the fact that the Council has already shown that support by taking the March 1st decision and by suggesting the communication 2469, is my number correct? Because I'm never sure with the numbers. So it has showed already solidarity with the Ukrainians. So you have been showing solidarity with the Ukrainians.
Thank you. Is it fair to say that the Congress, of course, can vote on this, but if so, and if attacked in court, the risk would be there that it would have detrimental consequences for the ISU? I mean, is that correct? Okay, so nothing prevents the Congress to vote on these motions, but the message from the legal team to the Council and conveyed to you was that be careful, it could have very detrimental consequences. I think that this should be clear. Further comments? No more? Then we have to go back to the, yes, there was somebody? No? Yes. Switzerland.
Good morning, dear Mr. President, dear Mr. Director General, dear Delegates, if we are going to vote now, and due to the very exceptional character of this situation, Switzerland requests or suggests and thinks that a secret vote would be more appropriate in the interest of all parties, and therefore request a secret ballot according to Article 30, paragraph 11. And as you probably know, this request will be accepted if 1/10 of the voting members accept or support this request. Thank you very much.
Thank you for this proposal, which we will obviously decide shortly. Just to go into other procedural issues, the motion of June 5 from Ukraine refers to a motion, but then has three different points. So now the question is whether all the 3 points should be voted as a whole, or whether each point should be voted separately. If there's a unanimous consensus that it can be voted as a whole, we do so. If somebody prefers that it should be voted one by one, we have to vote 3 times. So therefore the question is, let's put it this way, does somebody object to vote this as a whole? Yes, so there are objections, so we have to vote it one by one. So we will have 3 votes. That's the first procedural matter. Then I have to remind you, but this touches constitutional membership rights, and therefore a 2/3 majority will be needed to accept one of the 3 motions. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So these are two specific issues. Now, to come to the proposal to have a secret vote, and indeed it needs 10% of support. And I think if you show your green card, if you're in agreement with this, it will be easily possible to detect whether we need a secret vote. So if you're in favor of a secret vote, please show the green card. Well, it's clearly more than 10%. We don't need an electronic vote for this. I think there is no objection to this, so we do a secret vote for all the 3 motions. Okay? Now, since there's a secret vote, we haven't yet gone to the nomination of scrutineers, and we have scrutineers to supervise the elections and secret votes. So we have to do this now. One of them is my colleague, Mr. Geistlinger, and the other one is a representative from Thailand, Mr. Jitisa Kraproyon, if I pronounce this more or less right. So, what time is it? Because we have a coffee break. So to prepare the secret vote, I suggest we have the coffee break now. You agree, Mr. Chair? Like this we can prepare the secret vote. The scrutineers can supervise that it's really secret. There's no record whatsoever.
Half an hour.
And we come back when?
Yeah, we will have a coffee break for half an hour.
Half an hour, and then we proceed with the voting.
Well done, Freddy. There's no way close to voting. I reopen the meeting. I hope you enjoy the coffee. We continue with agenda item 4, the Director General, Mr. Schmid.
Thank you, Mr. President. Obviously, you had a very fruitful coffee break and some more questions came up, but it's maybe good. Like I said, it's a very, very serious story and we have to take our time. We go as fast as possible, but as slowly as necessary. And one question was, I think, asked about how you calculate the majorities and whether abstentions count to calculate the majorities. And I refer to Article 30:17, which says 17 majorities, abstentions have to be taken into account for the purpose of ascertaining majorities. Invalid votes are deemed not to be present. So abstention counts to calculate the threshold to two-thirds threshold to be accepted. That was one question. Another one on the 3 points in the motion of Ukraine figure skating. It says, motion that individuals belonging to the ISU member in Russia, Russian Skating Union and the Figure Skating Federation of Russia and Belarus, Skating Union of Belarus, elected or appointed as an ISU office holder at the 58th Ordinary Congress be excluded participation in ISU activities. Now it doesn't say until when or who has the authority to reinstate them. This should be said to avoid any confusion because hopefully soon the situation will change and then we have to know when could they come back if this will be accepted. So one possibility for consideration is that we say until further notice, until so decided by the council. Would you agree to this addition to make sure that we have a clear situation as to the timing? If you agree, please show the green card. Against? Nobody? So I think we can adjust the motion by adding until further notice as decided by the council. Just to be clear now. Obviously this third motion is a little different than the other one, so it has maybe a less severe impact, but still we will vote on it, but you all grasp that it's a little different from the 2 first motions. Now, furthermore, when we vote, the Russian and Belarusian, they obviously time being can vote for all 3 points. It's 1 motion, but 3 points. So during these 3 votes, they will be here, regardless of the outcome. Are there any other questions on the procedure or objections whatsoever before we go to vote? It's not the case. Then I suggest that we do another present vote. I understand that North Macedonia has arrived in the meantime, but Vietnam and Mongolia not yet, if I'm correct, which would mean that we should have 116 votes, correct? So please push 1 and present, and then you should see on your display value 1 or value 2, depending on whether you have 1 vote or 2 votes. So please press 1 and valid. And check your display whether it shows value 1 or value 2. If there's something not working with your voting pad, raise your hand and my colleagues will assist you. And operators, if you see everybody voted, you can give me a sign. Any troubles? Do we get all votes or? So please check your display. Here is somebody raising the hand. It should say value 1 or value 2. If this doesn't show, there is an issue. Please check your display. Should say value 1 or value 2. If it doesn't say, press 1 and valid again. We still not have all the votes. 5 missing. So let's see who is missing. Maybe somebody didn't come back in the room. So close the vote and show especially the missing, the missing. So Belgium speed, where is Belgium speed? Can you? Can somebody check those? So we have Belgium speed, Greece, figure Mongolia. Mongolia is not here, we know Vietnam is not here. So we have a problem with Russia. Speed, Greece figure, and Belgium speed. Could those 3 be checked? Should we try again? Do we do another vote, or has it been added? Okay, we do another vote. Please close this vote. We do a new vote, because we have to be sure that everybody is connected and it works. If not, it's a secret vote, so you cannot check afterwards what you voted. So it's even more important now to be safe. So again, press 1 and valid, and it should show on your display value 1 or value 2. If it doesn't show value 1 or value 2, please alert my colleagues and they will help you. Please push 1 valid. Any issues? The vote is still open. Please check your display 1. Value 1 and value 2. It's okay? 4. So 3. Okay, 3 could be okay. Can we check who is not here, whether it's Mongolia and so forth? Close the vote and check the list. Now Indonesia became a problem, and Kazakhstan. Please check the Kazakhstan and Indonesia. Mongolia, Vietnam is okay because they're not in the room. Well, I think this is not the first time that the first day it's a little tricky because you have to get used to it, but today we have such an important vote, we have to take the time we need. Seems to be an issue with the voting pad from Indonesia. And with Kazakhstan, could this be fixed? Ah, that's it. That's. Okay, yeah, I think we have to try once more. I want to be really sure here we don't. Open the vote again. Please press 1 and valid, and check on your display whether it says value 1 or value 2. If it doesn't show on your display value 1 or value 2, there's a problem. And then you have to alert my colleagues. Okay, so can we check? I think that we have the 116 votes, so we are fine, finally. Thank you very much for your patience. Now, the two scrutinizers are there with the voting operators, so they will verify that at no point in time there is any indication or any record which shows who voted how. So there will be guaranteeing that this is the case. Now we go through the 3 motions. I will read each motion and then open the vote. So motion point number 1. That individuals belonging to the ISU member in Russia, Russia Skating Union, and the Figure Skating Federation of Russia, and Belarus Skating Union of Belarus be excluded from participation in the 58th Ordinary Congress, including voting, deliberations, debate, submission of proposals, etc. This is the motion. Now, if you want to accept, once the vote is open, if you want to accept the motion, you press 1 and valid, and on your display it must show yes. If you don't, if you're against the motion, you press 2 and valid, and it shows on your display no. If you want to abstain, press 3 and valid, and on your display it shows abstention for abs. So is this all clear? In this case, please open the vote for point number 1 of the Ukraine motion. Please vote now. And again, check on your display whether it says yes, no, or abs. Please check your display whether it says yes, no, or abs. Is okay? One missing? Well, give 1 more minute. Please double check your display. It should say yes, no, or abs. Since it's a secret vote, we cannot tell you who forgot to vote. And but you had enough time, so it's okay. So please close the vote. Show the result. Obviously, we cannot show who voted how, but we can show the result. So even though there is a majority. No, there's no, it's even a majority of no, so it's clearly rejected. 55 no, 48 yes, and 13 abstention. So the motion is rejected. We go to motion number 2. The motion reads that individuals belonging to the ISU member in Russia, Russia Skating Union, and the Figure Skating Federation of Russia and Belarus, Skating Union of Belarus, be excluded from eligibility for election or appointment as an ISU office holder. This is the point number 2 of the motion. All clear? Open the vote, please, and again, if you're in favor, push 1 and valid. If you're against, no, 2 and valid. If you want to abstain, 3 and valid. And check on your display whether it says yes, no, or abs. Please vote now. Is okay? Please close the vote and show the result. So we have, in this case, more yes votes, but not a 2/3 majority, so 54 yes, 46 no, and 16 abstention. Thank you. We go to vote number 3, which now is basically the last one. And the motion reads that individuals belonging to the ISU members in Russia, Russian Skating Union and the Figure Skating Federation of Russia and Belarus Skating Union of Belarus, elected or appointed as an ISU office holder at the 58th Ordinary Congress be excluded from participation in ISU activities until further notice as decided by the Council. That's motion number 3. All clear? No questions? Then please open the vote. If you're in favor, push 1 and valid. If you're against, push 2 and valid. If you abstain, push 3 and valid. And check on your display whether it says yes, no, or abs. Vote now, please. Okay, please close the vote. So we have 60 yes, which is not a 2/3 majority, 38 no, and 18 abstentions, so it's also rejected. So thank you very much. I think this concludes a very difficult part of the Congress. Normally this item took 4 or 5 minutes. Today it took 2-3 hours, but it shows the importance of this matter, and I think it was important that everybody had time to express themselves. And again, this doesn't mean that our thoughts are not with the people of Ukraine. Now, since we combined item 4.1.2 and item 15, objections for nominations for candidates, we have to conclude also this item for other objections of candidates. In this regard, internally in the ISU, some questions came up whether some candidates for disciplinary commission are experienced either in speed skating or figure skating as the provision requires. This concerns Mrs. Chen from China, Mr. Mayer from Luxembourg, and Mrs. Cermak from Serbia. So we don't say they're not. We just say there were questions whether they fulfill this requirement, which we admit is a little bit vague. So what the Council agreed is that we will have a conversation with those 3 candidates and report back to you on Friday if we feel there could be a problem or not, and then it's still the Congress who will have the last word whether they are accepted. But just to know that the due diligence was made to check the candidates, and again, maybe we should look into the provision, because it's not a clear criteria what means experience in speed skating and figure skating. It's very vague. So anyway, besides this, are there other objections to current candidates which have been published? If this is not the case, then all other candidates, or all candidates with the exception of those 3 pending ones, are accepted for Friday's election. So this concludes also item 15. Then we go back to item 4, and I think it's paragraph 3. Yes, 3. So we are in the situation of having, luckily, again, a Congress, but you all got tested for COVID yesterday, and I understand we were very lucky. There was no positive test, and we pray and hope this will stay this way. But still, it could happen that all of a sudden we have positive cases. There will be other tests on Wednesday. And all of a sudden, maybe one or the other delegation, they cannot come to the meeting, to the Congress hall, because they're in isolation. So the Council discussed this hypothetical situation and felt that since you made the effort to travel to Thailand, And since you're here, there should be an exceptional decision to allow proxies. So if this would happen, and we hope it will not happen, so all of the delegation could be in isolation. You could give a proxy to somebody who is here. Do you agree to this exception, which needs two-thirds majority because we changed the constitution temporarily? This is just for today, for this Congress. Please show the green card. Who is against? Abstain? So I think it's clearly accepted, and again, we hope we don't need this. So thank you very much. So this concludes agenda item number 4.
Thank you very much. Then we have done indeed item number 4, this time a very important item. And we move on to item number 5, the election of 2 scrutineers of the minutes of the Congress meetings. Mr. Schmidt.
So the Council proposes Mrs. Maria Teresa Samaranch from Spain, figure skating council member, and Mr. Sergio Anesi from Italy, a speed skating council member, as scrutineers for the Congress, full Congress meetings records. If you agree, please show the green card. Against, show the red card. Abstention. So Mrs. Samaranch and Mr. Anesi are elected scrutineers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Then we move on to item number 6.
Still, so maybe still, because we didn't formally vote for the scrutineers of the elections, you know, the same as the secret vote. So Mr. Geistlinger and Jitisa Kraproyana from Thailand. You agree to have them as scrutineers for secret votes and elections? Yes, please show the green card. Against, the red card. Abstention. They're elected. Thank you. That concludes item 5.
We can move on to item number 6.
So here we have to elect drafting committees consisting of at least 3 members to draft the final text of the proposals adopted concerning the Constitution, its procedural provisions, and the general regulation. So it's proposed that even though he will be retired and be fishing in Norway, he will still have to be in the drafting committee. Mr. Jan Dijkema, Mr. Alexander Lakernik, Mr. Tron Espeli, Ms. Patricia St. Peter, legal advisor Geistlinger, and myself are proposed for drafting committee of the Constitution and General Delegation. If you agree, please show the green card. If you're against or have an objection, red card. Abstention. So the indicated drafting committee is elected. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Then we move on to item number 7, approval of the agenda. Here we also have the inclusion of the urgent proposals. Mr. Schmidt.
So the approval of the agenda, like Mr. President said, we have to integrate the urgent matters which were communicated through communication 2472 and which include 4 urgent proposals. Now I remind you that Article 30, paragraph 5 of the ISU Constitution regarding urgent matter is stating, if a proposal for the Constitution or for the general regulations and special regulations and or a proposal of the Council and or the technical committees for technical rules is submitted later than the date specified above, namely April 30, it can be discussed and voted upon at Congress, provided the proposal has reached the Secretariat in English for distribution to all ISU members not later than 3 weeks before the Congress and shall be certified as urgent business by a 4/5 majority of ISU members present and voting. So it's a pretty high bench hurdle to make sure that only really necessary urgent matters are accepted and this doesn't become the habit. The Council proposes that all 4 urgent matters should be accepted. However, if there are objections to any of the 4, please let us know, and then we have to vote on the urgent matter in question, whether this urgent matter reaches 4/5 majority to be on the agenda. So are there any objections to any of the 4 urgent matter proposals included in communication 2472? There are no objections? Then we include these 4 proposals, and they're fully on the agenda of the sorry, it was communication 2481, I made a mistake. 2481 is the communication for urgent matters, but it includes the 4, so they're all accepted on the agenda. Now, do you accept the agenda as per communication 2472 and including the 4 urgent matters? If you agree, please show the green card. Any rejection of red card? Abstention? So the agenda, including urgent matters, is accepted. So this concludes agenda item number 7.
Thank you very much. Then we have also concluded the agenda. And we can move on to item number 8, Biennial report by the President. Dear delegates, ISU honorary members, office holders, staff, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really, first of all, pleased to report about the ISU developments in front of a full house again. The Congress couldn't take place over the past 2 years due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and it has been the longest interval between the 2 Congresses since 1947. A sense of history is always important on occasions like this. You know, the ISU was founded in 1892 in Scheveningen in the Netherlands. And during this first Congress, our predecessors put the ISU on a firm foundation and produced fundamental rules. The first official international competitions arose with thousands of spectators. Quite an achievement if you realize that database marketing and social media still had to be invented. It was a different era, but we shared a passion for ice skating. It's in our DNA. Gliding over the ice gives a magical feeling. It's a fantastic spectacle to watch. Therefore, everyone here today works on the promotion and development of the ISU disciplines. The ISU Council focused on several pillars along with the ISU's ongoing events and activities. I will summarize the most significant milestones over the past 2 years. The ISU vice presidents, they will report on the specifics of each discipline during the branch meetings. First of all, development. We aim to improve the quality and quantity of skaters, coaches and officials around the world, and to increase the number of ISU members able to develop skaters who are competitive at ISU events and the Olympic Winter Games. Besides consolidating the development projects for members, seminars, junior competitions and scholarships, we have implemented new and powerful initiatives. For example, the rapidly growing ISU e-learning platform, piloting the ISU Center of Excellence concept and establishing 11 centers for 26 worldwide, creating the ISU Coach Education Qualification Framework, advancing the Visiting ISU Coach Initiative, evaluating and sharing the results of the development program, and increasing the number of participating ISU members. In the field of research and development, we are testing new concepts with the use of advanced technology, such as testing virtual figure skating competitions with remote judging, exploring the use of data analytics and artificial intelligence to assist officials, skaters and coaches and to improve media coverage. The development program is really successful. For example, several skaters who participated in our projects competed at the Olympics this year in Beijing and even won gold medals. The chair of the Development Commission will further report on development policy, activities and results after my report. Then secondly, marketing and promotion. Our ambition is to engage current and new generations with ice skating. We aim to promote the ISU events and disciplines in the best possible way. This requires close cooperation with the members, skaters, organizing committees, as well as media and marketing and advertising partners. In particular, we have worked on the following main developments over the past years. Expanding digital engagement. These years, we are creating and publishing more content than ever before on the ISU channels. Improving event organization, presentation, and reviewing the ISU events and formats, and several changes are on the agenda of this Congress. Develop a more data-driven marketing strategy, including a fan database. Launching new events such as the successful ISU Skating Awards and the ISU World Ice Skating Day that will see the light of day on December 4 this year. And we will have it on the next agenda item as well. Extending the marketing and advertising agreements with IMG in figure skating and House of Sports in speed skating. Extending the agreements with media partners, which is key to increasing the global viewing audience. The main partners for the media rights are Fuji TV, TV Asahi and J-Sports in Japan, Infront in Europe and several additional territories, SBS in Korea, Ice Network USA and Infront CCTV in China. The commercial agreements now in place represent a very stable income for at least the next 3 to 4 years and some until much longer, even until after 2030. Despite this progress regarding marketing, the world is changing rapidly and we need to keep ourselves updated. Therefore, I believe marketing and promotion is a crucial priority for the next years as well. We should all work together on how to promote better the ISU events and further increase the attractiveness and attendance. Then I come to the third pillar, good governance. We want to foster the ISU's good reputation, credibility and integrity. In view of the IOC Agenda 2020+5, we focus on important themes such as sustainability, diversity and inclusion, gender, transparency, and the fight against harassment and doping. For instance, we have undertaken the following initiatives: implementing the ISU athlete safeguarding policy and related projects. All skaters have the right to participate in a safe, inclusive, and respectful environment. Therefore, I would like to invite everyone to study our framework carefully and to encourage members to adopt a safeguarding policy. Updating the ISU Code of Ethics. Joining the IOC Dow Carbon Initiative and the United Nations Sports for Climate Action Framework, and working on a carbon footprint calculation model. We aim to reduce the overall carbon footprint and environmental impact of ISU events and activities by 50% by 2030. Consolidating the high-profile ISU anti-doping program. And finally, I would like to mention the Athletes Commission member on the ISU Council with full voting rights, and we will elect on Friday this first Athletes Council member. Following the 2020 independent governance assessment of the International Winter Sport Federations, the ISU exceeded the set target. Now we are waiting the outcome of the 2022 edition and continue working on projects regarding governance, sustainability, and social responsibility. Then exceptional events. First of all, the COVID-19 pandemic has had a huge impact on all of us. I assume this is the first ISU Congress in history we are wearing face masks. Our lives have changed in so many ways. The far-reaching consequences have also been felt strongly in the ice skating community. We had to cancel many ISU events in 2020 and 2021. The TV rights and sponsorship income dropped significantly. And we also had to cancel development activities, meetings and seminars. The ISU did its utmost to maintain the major ISU events through substantial extra ISU financial support, COVID-19 countermeasures, and the joint efforts of everyone. And therefore, a heartfelt thank you very much to the hard work and motivation of the ISU members, the organizing committees, skaters and coaches, officials, healthcare workers, volunteers, and the ISU staff, office holders and partners. The pandemic has shown how important sport is for physical and mental well-being. This extraordinary time has also inspired us to develop new and creative ways to continue activities. In this respect, I would like to mention the Keep Training sessions for both branches. They were a great success. We have more online meetings than ever before and test virtual formats. These initiatives will have a long-lasting effect. The Russian invasion of Ukraine can be considered as a second exceptional event. The ISU reaffirms its solidarity with all affected by the war. In April, the Council agreed to make a budget of 200,000 Swiss francs available to support the Ukrainian Skating Federation. Both federations available 200,000 Swiss francs for both federations and their members in coping with this very tragic and difficult situation. Furthermore, following the IOC recommendation, the Council decided that until further notice, the participation of skaters and officials from Russia and Belarus in international competitions including ISU championships and other ISU events, is not allowed. These events shall also not be held in Russia and Belarus. At the third topic, we have several pending legal proceedings. The legal advisors will outline these cases later today. A further special event this year were the Olympic Winter Games in Beijing. The Games brought the world together again during the pandemic in a spirit of solidarity and friendship. We experienced amazing skating performances in outstanding venues. The ISU worked really hard with the ISC and BOCOC to deliver the games successfully and safely. Thanks to a closed-looped approach. Thank you very much, Sergio. This is. Normally Sergio's coming with champagne, but he understands the situation very well. Thank you very much, Sergio. The ISU worked really hard with the IOC and BOCOC to deliver the games successfully and safely, thanks to a closed-loop approach. We are also focused on the legacy. For example, the brand new, wonderful National Speed Skating Oval in Beijing, maybe the most wonderful one in the world, is recognized as an ISU Center of Excellence. Then the financial status. In 2020 and 21, the ISU had actual losses. 2020 around 4.6 million and 21 around 250,000 Swiss francs. Of course, the COVID-19 pandemic had an enormous impact on the result. While during the past years, thanks to the basically positive financial developments, the ISU was able to increase its expenditures, the same will no longer be possible. Cost savings will be necessary to limit the annual losses and to avoid spending ISU reserves below an agreed level. The ISU Treasurer and the Director General will report on the financial status in more detail. Dear delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to conclude. The ISU is in a good shape, despite all the demanding challenges. We will write a new chapter in ISU history at this Congress. In light of the foundation built in 1892, we will advance the rules and elect a new president and many office holders. It has been a great pleasure for me and a privilege and an honor to serve as your ISU president during the past 6 years. And I would like to thank you all for your excellent and great cooperation. In particular, I would like to thank the ISU Director General and his staff and my staff at the Netherlands ISU office for the professional support of very high quality. I would like to wish my successor a lot of success with a lot of wisdom. Leadership combined with wisdom, with a head off to the past and the sleeves rolled up to the future. As you are not a good or an excellent IF, but becoming it every day. It's working day and night, 24/7, but a love for ice skating makes everything worthwhile. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Then we move on to next item, the Biennial report by the coordinator of the Development Commission, Mrs. Susanna Raccamo.
I'll take the water just in case. Dear President, Council, Dear delegates, dear skating friends, I have an honor and the privilege to present the Development Commission report and update you what has been done. And there is a lot, like the President just expressed. In the past 4 years, we have worked with more than 80 member countries, so your skaters, officials, and coaches, they have been involved with an ISU development program in a way or another. Let me now tell you briefly about the actions in the past 4 years. At first, I would like to introduce you our team and my dear colleagues. Gildo Gemser, focusing on speed skating here. Xuksun, focusing in Asia. And from our office team here in Phuket is Becky Keynes, there. And Laura and Rosa are following us from Lausanne. On top of this team, we have teams working with the e-learning and for centers of excellence. I will introduce them later. But what does the Development Commission do? It works on 2 goals in mind, like the President just expressed: to increase the numbers and improve the quality of skaters, coaches, and officials, and to increase the number of ISU members. So 2 things in mind. You will find more detailed descriptions about what the Development Commission is doing in Communication 2310. In principle, Development Commission programs and initiatives are built on both branches and all the 6 disciplines. It is a constant collaboration between the disciplines, branches, and all of you. In 2016, the Commission started its work by helping members with their projects, reviewing and improving members' applications, and as well also delivering junior scholarships. And this we do still. But soon after, we noticed that with only 2 tools in a toolbox, we cannot reach and serve the members' needs. Therefore, we started to try out new mechanisms to help. Since 2018, we have created new tools. I will present you shortly some examples of what we have done. Just this spring, we have systematically started also focusing on developing regions. In 3 tropical regions, we hosted continental webinars to increase collaboration between the countries. This has also helped us to better understand how the new members could be assisted better. A few words about the members' projects. In 2019, Development Commission co-founded over 50 members' projects. The number of applications as well as projects have steadily gone up, but COVID, of course, pulled the numbers down. The funding has been split in half between the 2 branches, and some years there has been a slightly more speed projects and sometimes figures projects, but they are split in half in general. Just in members' projects, there has been over 1,000 coaches and almost 3,500 skaters that have been involved in your projects. And since e-learning and creation of the other tools, like e-learning so e-learning and creation other tools like visiting coaches and so on, the numbers have gone up. And we are reaching more of your skaters, coaches, and officials. And just a short notice also about our scholarships. We renewed the process, and now we can reach even more skaters in more countries. So 100 junior skaters got last year scholarship. But in development report, you can find more statistics about the projects, scholarships, and other development matters. But some examples of the members' projects. Transition program in line to ICE is the one great example of the members' projects. Due to that, Argentina and Colombia got for the first time skaters on Olympic ice. Also, a recent Olympic champion was born due to transition program. Only in 4 months after Eric Jackson got first time on ice, she qualified for the Pyeongchang Olympics. And 4 years later, in Beijing, she won Olympic gold medal. That is a great athlete story. And here, she's stepping first time on ice. Not quite yet the fastest on track. And here, some more projects from Figure. So we have for synchro, we have for pairs, we have for ice dance, we have for singles, and in every continent. Since establishment, we have granted 28 visiting coaches projects. The idea is that a coach goes to a country several times and helps to better the system. Here are a few pictures from visiting coaches projects in synchronized skating, but there are in each of the discipline. Soon after the new development commission was created, we had a notion that with online development can reach more people. E-learning is an additional tool to share high-quality knowledge and enable learning anytime and anywhere. To understand better what is needed in each discipline, an e-learning project group was established by the council, and an e-learning coordinator was hired. Here you see our team behind the e-learning. Here we are in Lausanne last October, after the long time in COVID, and we never saw each other in person. The soft launch in mid-2019 had a small number of courses. In June 2019, we had a mini celebration for having 500 users registered. The growth of the numbers of users is, though, exponential, and is the number of training courses provided. And I hope after this Congress, we see a jump in the number of registration when you also will be all registered. Here are some examples of the content prepared for you by the e-learning team. We are only able to highlight a few of the 135 courses that are on the e-learning site.
One of our most successful courses to date is Skating Techniques with international professional Brian Orser.
If I'm on a circle and I'm on a curve, I should be on a curve. When I'm on a curve like this, I should be leaning a little bit into the circle.
And for speed skating.
The ISU e-learning team has put together a wide variety of courses for speed skating branch professionals. For example, in 2021, we co-developed software that allowed starters to be able to train even though they were not on the ice. An interactive course was also put together that allowed people to discover the infringement guidance for the 2020 and 2021 season. We have also put together a series of courses that will help both coaching professionals and skaters themselves to stay healthy and to keep skating. They include exploring sleep and recovery, endurance, strategic and mental capabilities, and strength and conditioning.
For speed skating coaches and skaters, there are over 50 exercise videos available that they can choose the exercises depending on what each individual skater needs to develop. These exercises have helped skaters and their coaches to maintain physical training in spite of difficulties accessing training centers and outside of competition season.
And for coaches education. The ISU Coach Education Qualification Framework is a multi-level tool for ISU members that are interested in providing educational sessions or building a national coach education pathway for their coaches. It has been designed to provide a standardized structure for education of coaches that can be used as a reference and guide by ISU members establishing a coach education program for figure skating, short track, and speed skating. 80 coaches from different countries all over the world have already taken the first 2 levels of figure skating course on e-learning platform. And for officials, we have something.
The reappointment opportunities for the figure skating branch have evolved since they first launched in 2019. The modules were prepared by their respective technical committees with the support of the ISU e-learning project group. The purpose of the exercise for each role in the respective discipline is to provide a scenario-based, interactive, and challenging approach for developing their knowledge related to the key tasks of their role. Each reappointment learning exercise is comprised of a series of questions related to the role and can be completed as many times as they wish with a different set of questions for each attempt. The learning exercises were a cost-saving measure, an opportunity for connectivity, and continuation of services. Throughout the pandemic, we saw users keeping themselves sharp for the eventual return to live events.
And there are also for speed skating officials courses. We provide also virtual event toolkit to organize online events. And it's here.
The Virtual Events Toolkit offers step-by-step instructions on how to organize a variety of virtual events for skating, technical panel practice sessions, training seminars, domestic figure skating competitions, monitoring for skaters, short track workshops for referees, only to name a few examples. The Virtual Events Toolkit is a valuable resource that has been used in at least 38 events that we know of. One of those events was the second Egyptian National Championships.
Welcome to the second Egyptian National Championships and Festival. There are 26 Egyptian skaters from 6 countries.
Congratulations to the coaches, the organizers, and of course the families and friends of the competitors. You have created something very special here, and I'm sure that other skating federations around the world will follow your lead.
I wish Ice Skate Egypt continued success in promoting the sport of figure skating in Egypt.
And that is a really cute example of one of the events. And Egypt became a provisional member after this event, provisional member of ISU. We have also highly interactive code of ethics model. For increasing the awareness of ISU Code of Ethics, the team of experts developed highly interactive ICE Code of Ethics model. In this model, participants are presented with situations that may occur on a day-to-day basis and are invited to think about how they should react in line with the rules of Code of Ethics. This model is compulsory for all staff and officials from ISU bodies. The model has been completed by around 1,000 users since the opened mid-2021. And I wish to thank Patricia St. Peter and legal advisor Michael Geistinger for their expertise and input in putting this model together. Many other important projects were also done here, such as Poor as Ice. Now a few words about the Centers of Excellence. In the pilot phase, the Center of Excellence concept was created, tested, and established. Just recently, we started a new cycle in a core purpose to serve as many members as possible. Therefore, we have centers around the globe, 11, like we heard from the President. The core task is to share knowledge inside the community, provide access for ISU skaters to top training facilities, and develop skaters and coaches. Amidst the global pandemic, the the Centers of Excellence launched the virtual training sessions, Keep Training, headed by renowned coaches and world and Olympic champions. It was done to motivate the skaters and coaches around the world to keep up the spirit. In total, 35 training sessions were held. They were to attracting the participation of skaters of all levels and thousands of online viewers. The ISU Centers of Excellence is about sharing. Inside Center of Excellence webinars, we organized to share the know-how of Centers of Excellences on selected training and coaching topics to benefit skaters and coaches of all levels around the world. For example, how to start a pair skating team or an ice dance team. Centers of Excellence support the communities in various ways. Speed Skating Centers of Excellence created a tutorial video series about training, equipment, and coaching skills, and others as well, aiming to help young skaters and coaches to better train and prepare themselves for the competitions. Element explained, the ISU Centers of Excellence have come together to provide a series of videos. 23 figure skating elements have been developed here that will help figure skaters further develop the skills needed to progress on their journey as athletes. This series is aimed at beginners and experienced skaters alike, as it provides special insight from some of the world's best coaches. This series will be also gathered in e-learning as small learning bits, easy to see and use. Last season, we also trialed ISU internship program in Centers of Excellences with some of you, the ISU members. The purpose is to help the members in transforming their own culture by having one skater and a coach visiting a center. Here is a nice comment from the president of South African Figure Skating Association. The Center of Excellence has really elevated our athlete, Nicholas, and he has gone through a transformation, and this is very evident in his skating and performance when he steps onto the ice. What the Centers of Excellence has done for this one athlete speak volumes, and I believe that many more athletes can benefit from this project going forward. This is a great project and development initiatives. We're so happy that with this comment, because we trialed and now it's working how it should. But in summary, with the team, we have been very active in developing materials for your use. And I would take here the opportunity to thank many advanced members who have actively shared their knowledge, materials, and also their professionals. And I also wish to thank all the individuals who have put their time and effort making all this possible. We are very grateful for that. But it is you, all the members, who do the real development with your skaters, officials, and coaches. So we can only help you. But we hope that you will find the ISU development tools helpful, and we will keep on developing them further. And we are inviting you to keep using them. Then we know that they are relevant for you. They are created for you, your coaches, your skaters, and officials. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Susanna Rakamo. And then we continue with with item number 9, with a presentation of the World Ice Skating Day. The floor is yours, Mr. Ashley Attinkale.
Thank you, Mr. Daikema. My name is Ashley and I work for the ISU, and I'm here to present the World Ice Skating Day. Firstly, I would like to thank the Figure and Speed Skating Association of Thailand for organizing this wonderful Congress and their warm hospitality. It is really refreshing to meet everyone in person after the testing times we all have collectively experienced in the last 2 years. I hope that we put this behind us and look towards new beginnings. Speaking of new beginnings, the World Ice Skating Day was an idea that was formulated several years back by the ISU Council to have one day dedicated to ice skating in the form of a global festival, with the main focus being development and bringing more children into ice skating. And through this World Ice Skating Day initiative, we would like to create this environment of fun and festivities, not only for beginners or kids, but for recreational skaters, for professional skaters, and for the entire family. So having said that, mark your calendars for December 4, 2022, which is going to be the very first edition of the very first World Ice Skating Day. So for today's presentation, I shall be going through what exactly is the World Ice Skating Day, the date, the mission, the vision, the concept. We have a World Ice Skating Day separate website, how the registration process works, how the event itself, and what are the next steps. So as mentioned, what is the World Ice Skating Day? It is one day dedicated for every skating lover, be it a professional skater, be it amateur, be it retired, be it a first-time skater. It would be a fun Sunday for the entire family. But the main focus is getting more kids into the ice and developing the future of ice skating through the World Ice Skating Day. The idea is to provide free initiation and sessions for first-time beginners and first-time skaters so that they can enjoy this day along with their peers and come back to the ice, which would in turn help your clubs and help the federation itself. So the World Ice Skating Day aligns with the goals of the Olympic Solidarity, which is development, diversity, and inclusion, as ISU facilitates accessibility to ice skating to everyone across the world. And it would be an international day, so it's not a one-off event. It's going to be held the first Sunday of every December. So for this year, the first edition is going to be held December 4, 2022. So the mission with the World Ice Skating Day, we aim to celebrate the spirit of sport and make it a yearly global ice skating festival, uniting people from different communities. We want to popularize ice skating amongst children and youth across the world in this digital era, and to pave a path for diversity, inclusion, and fairness. The World Ice Skating Day is synonymous with fun. We want to expand ice skating in countries not really known for winter sports and also help them scale it. So in a nutshell, the mission and vision of the World Ice Skating Day is to create a global ice skating festival. The main encouragement for this project is to provide free initiation session for kids, for first-time skaters, for beginners, so that they enjoy an environment of fun and festivities for the entire family. Also, we are aware that a lot of ISU members do conduct similar initiatives and would encourage them to consider joining hands with the World Ice Skating Day and extending their initiatives with this project. So, without further ado, here is the official teaser of the first World Ice Skating Day that shall also be uploaded on the social media and the World Ice Skating Day social media channels as part of our promotion plan. So as mentioned, we have a separate website for the World Ice Skating Day. The registrations will be open in the following week. This is how the website looks. The URL is www.worldiceskatingday.com. The registrations will be open and you shall be updated through the ISU communication. So quickly, I'll just highlight the key elements of the website. I would just quickly do an overview of the website, but I'm there outside for the entire week with the World Ice Skating Day booth. So if it's a bit overwhelming, then you can come, contact me, we can have a discussion on potential synergies, and so on until Friday. So for a potential event organizer to be a World Ice Skating Day event organizer, it can be a national federation, it can be an association, a skating club, a skating rink. Event companies can also register their event on the World Ice Skating Day website. But the key element here is the ISU members. So any potential event organizer have to take the approval from the ISU members. And how we are going to do that is we are facilitating it on the registration form of the website. So already on the website, there is a letter addressed to the ISU member. Since we are in Thailand, for example, if a skating club in Phuket wants to organize the World Ice Skating Day in their arena, they need to download this letter, which is on the World Ice Skating Day website, and send it to the corresponding ISU member, which is Figure and Speed Skating Association of Thailand. In this case, the federation will mark their seal of approval either through a seal or a stamp or a signature and send back the letter to the potential event organizer. Then the event organizer has to complete the form along with this letter of approval, and only then the potential event organizer will be provided the rights to host the World Ice Skating Day. And along with the rights to hold the World Ice Skating Day, they would also have access on the website and access to the World Ice Skating Day brand book. So in terms of the design, a World Ice Skating Day organizer can design their event like they want, but they have to ensure that to adhere to the World Ice Skating Day branding toolkit guidelines. It is possible to have different World Ice Skating Day events for different venues depending on the size, accessibility to the rinks, the availability of coaches, etc. So this is the branding toolkit. The approved members, the event organizer would be provided access to this branding toolkit, which they can use for their communication and for their promotion. So the event itself, as mentioned, the first edition is December 4. So it gives you enough time to plan and prepare, and we at the ISU office will also be there at your disposal to support you. As mentioned, the design of the event, the creative control is completely with a potential event organizer, but they have to ensure that they adhere to the World Ice Skating Day branding guidelines, and also to provide a developmental scheme which is providing free initiation sessions for first-time and beginner skaters. The idea is that the first-time skaters will have a nice time on the ice and come back to your rinks. So different members have different approaches. Some ice rinks can do it bigger. Some members or potential event organizers who have access to the rinks can do it bigger. Some can do it just for a few hours. The kind of design would be a morning session for first-time skaters. In the afternoon, a session on nutrition and injury prevention for semi-pro or amateur skaters, of free skating for the entire family with music, with DJ, with food trucks, and you can end it with a gala or an exhibition of your local skaters. So this is just an idea. It's up to the members and the potential event organizers to design their event. So in terms of ISU support, we shall provide sufficient promotional support on our communication channels on the World Ice Skating Day website, on the World Ice Skating Day social media, and for whoever registers their event on the website and are approved will be provided sufficient promotional visibility on our platforms. There is also an element of monetary support to ISU members in need and on a case-by-case basis. More on this will be communicated shortly. And the important thing is the legacy is to monitor the effectiveness of World Ice Skating Day organized in your countries and continue engagement with partners for the next editions. So the next steps is to be aware of the communication. Stay tuned for ISU communications on the World Ice Skating Day website, the World Ice Skating Day social media, the ISU communication channels. The event organizers can also engage in already securing partners and sponsors, local suppliers, through the ISU does encourage them to partner with your local sponsors and suppliers. And in turn, the ISU will also provide letters of support to invite the local partners and vendors into the World Ice Skating Day family. So we will be in constant touch to help the members and the event organizers organize a great World Ice Skating Day. And of course, strategic partnerships, promotional activities, organizing with your local skaters, organizing with your local vendors to promote, and it's up to you how you decide to design your events, but it has to adhere to the branding guidelines and also encouraging more development of kids coming into the ice. So we encourage and hope all ISU members themselves encourage their own skating clubs, the rinks in their own countries to participate in the World Ice Skating Day, as it will help their rinks, the members themselves, the national federations, the ISU, and most importantly, it will go a long way to also secure the future of our sport. I will be just outside for questions. I have some promotional and merchandise samples for representation purposes. I have some little goodies to give you. So we can have a nice discussion to understand the website, how the registration process works. We can discuss potential synergies. So I'm there until Friday. And also as part of the promotion activity, we also have the World Ice Skating Day trailer, which will also be released the following week. Thank you for your time. And good luck for the rest of the Congress. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ashley. Atenko. It's really promising, and I'm pretty sure this will be a very successful initiative, long-lasting in the future, with the great cooperation of all of you. Then we have done our job for this morning. I think it's time for lunch. We meet again at 4 o'clock here in the plenary session, but in the meantime, we have the workshops at 2 o'clock. I don't know where they know where it is.
We should not continue with the agenda.
I don't understand.
We should not continue with the agenda.
No. So it's time for lunch now, around 12:30. So the workshops are before 4 o'clock. I don't know whether you know where it is, Freddie?
Well, the figure skaters stay here, and the speed skaters go downstairs, the lower level where the speed skating room is.
Okay, we meet again at 4 o'clock in the plenary session. Enjoy your lunch.
You didn't want to finish the...
It's 12:30. Schedule lunch at 12:30.
No, that's correct. But